Hi, I'd like to do a short demo of recording using a mic setup known as mid-side. This technique uses two mics. The mid mic is a cardioid and the side mic is a figure-8 mic, one that picks up in two different opposite directions. What I have here are Shep's CMC6 mics with cardioid MK41 capsule and another with a figure-8 MK8 capsule. So as you can see here, the cardioid mic is aimed at the guitar. I like to position the mic in the middle of the body, aligned about with the waist of the guitar. And the figure-8 mic is turned sideways so that the front and back are aimed parallel to the guitar. What this setup does is allow me to control the stereo width of the recording later when we're mixing. Anything from mono to ultra wide. Midside has a lot of benefits. It is mono compatible. So even if we have a stereo image and it's later collapsed to mono, it will still sound good. It also just sounds really nice on acoustic guitar. So for my setup here, I'm recording using an Apogee Ensemble interface into a Mac using Logic. I have the mid mic going into the left channel, the side mic going into the right channel, and we're recording to a stereo track. There are two things to deal with when setting up mics: levels and stereo balance, in addition to just making sure that they sound good wherever you place them. And this process is a little different with mid-side. Since these mics are very similar, all I really have to do to match levels is to set the input controls on my recording interface to have to be set to the same gain level. The side mic will naturally be quieter because it's aimed sideways away from the guitar, but that's expected. Now, if you're using two different mics, two different kinds of mics, what I'd suggest is to start with the figure-8 mic rotated so that it's aimed towards the guitar, so that both mics are aimed at the same place. Then adjust your preamp levels until the mic volumes are the same. Then rotate the figure-8 mic back. The level will drop on the figure-8 mic, and that's what we want. Now, balancing left and right in the stereo image can be trickier because these two mics are not set to the same level. So we can't do it in the usual way just by watching level meters and making sure they're the same. But there are a couple ways to deal with this for mid-side. If you have a sort of a lithogous figure type display, instead of being vertical when it's balanced, it'll be balanced when it's 45 degrees to the right. Take a look at that. So that is indicating that I'm balanced. So at least with Logic, I can do something a little more convenient. I set the channel input to monitor mode and add an MS decoder plugin into the effects path. And then I place the balance meters after the decoder. So we'll get to that decoder part later, but what that does is it converts the mid-side to stereo. I can then use the level meters in the way I normally would to get stereo balance. I like this meter from Isotope called Insight, and I can watch the meters and I can move around in my chair or move the mics until we're balanced. Let's take a look at that. I'm going to record a few bars of something here, and then we'll take a look at what we do with that in Logic. Okay, so now that I have a recording, let's take a look. I'm going to close these meters that I don't need, and I've got the basic track here. First thing to notice is that the left side, which is the mid channel, is much louder than the right side, and that's what we want. As it is, though, if we just play this back the way it's recorded, it's going to sound kind of odd. Let's listen to a few seconds. So you can see it pulls completely to the left, and even if we were to balance the levels by panning or something, it wouldn't sound right because this is mid-side. This is not stereo. So the way to convert this, there's a manual way to do it, which involves sending the middle track to both channels, the side track to one channel regularly, and then to the other channel with an inverted phase. And that could be set up manually if you'd like, and you could do it in Logic with buses or by separating the tracks. But handily, there's a little plugin. There's a lot of plugins out there, I think. This one is made by Vox & Go, and it's a free plugin, and it's a mid-side decoder. And it handles all this stuff for me. So I'm just going to activate the plugin. It has a bunch of different settings. I'm going to set it to decode. We can control the mid-levels and the side levels separately. I'm going to set them both to be the same. And let's listen to what we have now. So we have stereo, just like that. And the nice thing about this is, especially with this plugin, one of the reasons I like it, it's very easy to adjust and do different things. I can mute the mid, I can mute the sides, I can flip things around. But let's listen to what happens if we want to be mono. Like maybe I'd change my mind. I don't want stereo and I'd like to use this in a mix with other instruments. I can simply turn down the side and we'll hear mono. And then I can increase the gain and hear an increasingly stereo image. Let's listen to that. So there we have a ultra-wide stereo image. I'm going to back it off. If I put it at 0, we have the equivalent of XY. And I'm going to go just a little bit wider just because I like a wider sound. So let's take this up to 2. And there we have it. We have a MS decoded stereo sound. Let's just finish this up real quick as if I was going to release it. I'm going to add a little bit of reverb. We'll send a signal to a bus. I'm going to turn on a reverb here. This is a nice TC VSS3 plugin, and this is a preset that I like. A little bit of reverb. Let's bring up a meter so we can monitor our levels. This is a meter that shows me loudness units, and if I was releasing this on a CD, I'd want a loudness of about -15 loudness units. I'm going to turn on Ozone Mastering Tool, which is all kinds of handy things, but we're only going to use a little bit. First of all, I don't think this really needs an EQ, but what I'm going to do is activate a high-pass filter just to cut out all the mud around below 40 hertz. There's no guitar down there, so anything down there is just rumble from traffic or my feet tapping on the floor or something. So we'll get rid of that. The maximizer adds a little bit of limiting compression, and it also just brings the level up. So I'm going to be targeting -15 loudness units. Let's see what we've got here. And that's it. We can see that we hit right about at the CD level. We've got a little bit of reverb on. So that is the sound of mid-side after it's been decoded. Thanks for watching.